The Tuesday, September 4th, 2018, public board meeting of the Greater Dayton RTA Board of Trustees is hereby called to order. Would you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The vision of RTA is to be a premier public transportation provider that connects people and communities. Our mission is to provide great value, dependable service, and to be responsive, timely, and accountable for all that we do. Our motto, it's time to ride. Would you call the roll, please?
Yes, ma'am. Ms. Hurd.
Here.
Ms. Hairston.
Present.
Mr. Corrado.
Here.
Mr. Hoagie.
Here.
Ms. Howard.
Present.
Mr. Lumpkin.
Here.
Ms. Matthew Stinson.
Present.
Mr. Weckeser.
Here.
And Mr. Williamson.
Here.
Thank you.
We have a quorum. We can conduct business. Next, we have approval of the agenda. You have the agenda in front of you. I'd like to make one addition. Under item 9, new business, please add for discussion, free rides on election day. Are there any other adjustments to the agenda? Is there a motion to approve the agenda has adjusted?
So moved. Second.
Okay. It's been properly moved and seconded that we approve the agenda has adjusted. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carried. The agenda has been approved with the adjustment. Next, we have the board meeting minutes of August 7, 2018. The minutes of this meeting were presented for review to all board members prior to today's meeting. Unless there's any board member who requests a reading of the minutes, I will ask if there are any corrections or additions to the minutes as presented. Having heard no request for reading of the minutes, nor any corrections or additions, the minutes stand approved as presented. Next, we will have committee reports, and we will begin with the Finance Personnel Committee. Mr. Lumpkin.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The Finance, Personnel, and Planning Committees met for a jointly held meeting on August 21st, and as a result of the committees is recommending 3 action items for the board's consideration. Action item number 2, Building 600 renovations. The Greater Dayton RTA requires interior renovations of the 600 Longworth Street building, which involves the first floor administrative offices, the lower level areas for the bus operators, additional restrooms, a fitness facility, record storage rooms, HVAC replacement, LED lighting, exterior window work, and other related items. This project is consistent with the RTA's core values of stewardship as we properly manage our resources while maintaining quality service. This project is part of the 2018-2019 capital budget. Mr. Rosinski presented the action item at the committee meeting, and the associated details are included in your board packet. Staff's available to answer any questions that the board may have at this time. Hearing none, based upon the recommendations of the committee, I move to award a contract to RTA Construction for Building 600 renovation and alternates in the amount of up to $4,049,400, plus a contingency amount of 15% to cover items that may arise during renovations for a grand total award of up to $4,656,810. RTA will only award the base bid to AKA at this time, while the alternates are evaluated. Contingency funds will be held until issues are identified, and then funds will be released via change orders. The procurement will be funded 80% through federal grant funds.
That was your motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay. It's been probably moved and seconded. We award a contract to AKA Construction for a total amount of $4,656,810 for Building 600 renovation. Are there any questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carried. We are awarding the contract to AKA Construction.
Action item number 3, diesel coach option. In January 2016, the RTA awarded a multi-year purchase of up to 5 years for diesel coaches. 25 buses were ordered in the first year of the contract. In 2017, a total of 28 buses were ordered. RTA would now like to exercise option year 3 for 17 40-foot diesel coaches. The actual cost is dependent on the base bid price and the producer's price index adjustment with a maximum 5% increase. Mr. Brown presented the action item for our committee meeting, and the associated details are included in today's board package. Staff is available to answer any requests the board may have at this time. Hearing none, based on the recommendations of the committee, I move to approve staff's intent to exercise option 3 for 17 40-foot low-floor diesel buses for a total amount of $7,990,510 plus a 5% allowance of $399,526 for enrichments at a total estimated cost of $8,390,036. This procurement will be funded with federal grant funds. 7 buses are funded with 80% federal funds, and 10 buses are funded with 50% federal funds. Additional concurrence will be requested prior to ordering any of the remaining 24 buses from the base award. Further, board approval will be requested before purchasing any of the 67 option buses.
Madam Chair, I'll second that.
Okay, it's been properly moved and second that we grant a contract to Gillig for $8,390,036 for option year 3 for 17 buses. Are there any questions or comments? All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Those opposed say no. Okay, motion carried. We will be granting a contract for option year 3 to Gillig for 17 buses for $8,390,036.
Action item number 4, Personnel Data Systems Professional and Technical Services, or PDS, is the sole provider of Vista Human Resources Management System software, which the RTA implemented in 2010. RTA is working to upgrade the Vista software to the new version 7, which incorporates significant change in the database architecture and user interface. PDS is the only vendor that offers professional services to upgrade and support Vista software. Mr. Harrington presented the action item at our committee meeting, and the associated details are included in the board package. Staff's available to answer any questions that the board may have at this time. Based upon the recommendation of the committee, I move to award a contract to Personal Data Systems, PDS, in the not-to-exceed amount of $24,880 for the purchase of professional technical services. Furthermore, I move to ratify the $24,939 spent under small purchasing procedures for a grand total award of $49,819. The Vista 7 upgrade assistance will be funded with 100% local operating funds. The open enrollment implication of Vista Analytics will be funded with 80% federal grant funds.
I second.
It's been properly moved and seconded. We award a contract to PDS for $49,819 for professional and technical services. Are there any other questions? All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Opposed say no. Motion carried. We will be awarding a contract to PDS for $49,819 for professional and technical services. Thank you, Mr. Lumpkin. Ms. Howard?
Good afternoon.
Wait,
Oh,
there are some other items to mention.
Committee
sorry.
reports.
Committee reports, please. I'm sorry.
See, I didn't say
I'm
thank you, Madam President, yet. Other
Thank you.
items to mention the 2018 sales tax update. Mr. Thomas reported the 2018 sales tax receipts equal $3,289,933. In State of Ohio, transitional aid is $383,788. The grand total of $3,673,721 reflects a 1.8% or $64,449 decrease versus May of 2017. When comparing May 2018 budget, we're down $35,050 or 1.1%. Year-to-date, the 2018 sales tax receipts equal $15,243,945, and State of Ohio transitional aid is $1,918,939. The year-to-date grand total is $17,162,884, reflects a 1.1% or $194,993 increase versus year-to-date of 2017. As compared to year-to-date budget, we're down $279,016 or 1.8%. Staff will continue to monitor and report on the sales tax on a regular basis. The July 2018 financial statements, Mr. Thomas reported for the month of July, the RTA's net loss after local depreciation is $358,982 compared to a budgeted net loss of $248,552. RTA's year-to-date net loss after local depreciation is $589,741 compared to budgeted net loss of $93,208. Operating revenues were $103,866, or 2.2% over budget, or above budget. Operating expenses excluding depreciation were $116,538, 0.3% over budget. Local depreciation expenses was $26,550, 2% under budget. And finally, non-operating revenues expenses were $510,412, 1.5% under budget. The details and various explanations associated with the financial statements are included in today's meeting package. And that concludes my report, Madam President.
Thank you, Mr. Lumpkin.
A lot of numbers.
Ms. Howard.
Good afternoon again. The Finance, Personnel, and Planning Committees met for a jointly held meeting on August 22nd, and as a result, the Planning Committee is recommending 2 action items for the board's consideration. Action item number 5, Title VI Program and Service Equity Analysis. As a recipient of the U.S. Department of Transportation and Federal Transit Administration funding, the Greater Dayton RTA must comply with the Title VI and environmental justice regulations. This is to ensure the RTA provides fair and equitable service. While the RTA is in compliance with the Federal Transit Administration Title VI program through November 30th, 2018, it is required that the board review and approve the Title VI program and service equity reviews since the last submission on October 1st, 2015. Mr. Brandon Palachicchio provided a detailed explanation at our committee meeting, and the supporting information is included in today's board package. Mr. Donahue is available to answer any questions you may have. Hearing none, and based upon the recommendation of the Planning Committee, I move to approve the 2018 Title VI program, including the service equity reviews since the last submittal on October 1st, 2015.
Second.
Been properly moved and second that we approve the 2018 Title VI Program and Services Equity Review and Analysis. Are there any questions or comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Okay. Motion carried. We have approved the 2018 Title VI Program and Services Equity Analysis Report.
Action item number 6, Riverfront Plan Proclamation. The Dayton Riverfront Plan was created from a partnership-driven revitalization effort that brought together 5 Rivers Metro Parks, Miami Valley Conservancy District, the City of Dayton, Montgomery County, the Miami Valley Regional Planning Commission, the Downtown Dayton Partnership, and the Greater Dayton RTA. 5 Rivers Metro Parks is requesting Greater Dayton RTA Board of Trustees pass a proclamation in favor of the Dayton Riverfront Plan. Mr. Palachicchio provided a detailed explanation at our committee meeting, and the supporting information is included in today's board package. Mr. Donahue is available to answer any questions you may have. Hearing none and based upon the recommendation of the Planning Committee, I move to approve the Dayton Riverfront Plan.
Second?
Before we vote, would you please, for the general audience, read the proclamation?
There's a lot of whereases. Whereas the Dayton's riverfronts are the civic heart of the city, and whereas the riverfronts anchor the downtown and connect the core to surrounding neighborhoods through a growing network of parks, trails, and river-oriented development, and whereas our community can unlock further growth and enhance quality of life for all residents who live, work, and play along the Great Miami River, the Stillwater River, the Mad River, and Wolf Creek corridors, and whereas this enhancement and growth can become an economic engine, ensure something for everyone, enhance Dayton's identity, build in places and programs that support health, safety, and wellness for all who live, learn, and work and play along the riverfront, improve pedestrian and public transit access through physical connections to and across the riverfront and to the surrounding community, and promote the ecological health of the riverfront while continuing to protect from flooding. Therefore, be it resolved that I, Adrian Hurd, President of the Board of Trustees, do hereby proclaim the Greater Dayton Regional Transit Authority's full support and endorsement of the Dayton Riverfront Plan.
Thank you. It's been properly moved and second. All those in favor of the Riverfront Plan proclamation?
President, before we go forward, there's
Okay.
just a couple of typos on the proclamation. And, either read them into the record or present them so that they can be changed before you put your signature on. So
Okay. Please.
otherwise, I'm in favor of the motion to approve the plan, not necessarily the proclamation that would then follow up on.
Okay. Well, then we will approve the Riverfront
With
Plan
corrections.
proclamation.
With corrections.
Correct.
And would you please get with Kathy afterwards and let her know what the
Yep,
corrections are?
I will do so. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, now we're ready for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Okay. Motion carried. We have approved the Riverfront Plan proclamation, and we do acknowledge that there are a few grammatical corrections. Your report.
In addition, at the committee meeting, Mr. Palachicchio provided a summary document of recent activities in the Customer and Business Development Department. Updates included information on the RTA's What Drives You campaign, upcoming changes for limited services routes for Dayton Public School students, transportation for the National Night Out, United Way campaign, and the Ohio Department of Transportation's training for transit customer advocacy groups. This concludes my report, Madam President. Mr. Donahue or I are happy to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you. Chief Executive Officer's report.
Thank you, Madam President. Just two informational items. I was with a group of civic leaders, including the young lady, a few people down to my right, Belinda Matthews Stinson. We were guests of the Air Force and the luxurious accommodations in their aircraft. We got to fly like the military fly in the temporary seating in the C-17 down to MacDill Air Force Base in Florida, and Belinda may want to chime in, but I wanted to give a shout out to the folks at Wright Pat and the 445th Air Wing. It was a great tour. We learned an incredible amount. I learned that the electronics in our buses today are more high-tech than some of the equipment the Air Force has, simply because they managed to keep things flying for so many years. But we learned a great deal, met some great folks down in Tampa, and survived the trip, made it back. The only other item I wanted to mention is you may have heard of the organization called Drive Ohio. It's actually an arm of ODOT. And the intent is that Drive Ohio is the end-all, be-all in Ohio of all things connected vehicles and autonomous vehicle technology. Our good friend Jim Barna, who was one of the deputy directors at ODOT, has moved over to Drive Ohio to take the lead there. He's asked us to participate in it, to represent transit in the state, and he's very interested in seeing if there are projects we can work on here in Dayton. They've already are working on some connected vehicle projects in the Marysville area and a corridor there. You've probably read about the autonomous work they've done on I-71 with semi-traffic and on the Turnpike. They're looking to see if we can launch something autonomous here. The target for evaluation is our circulator route to see if some technology could be deployed there as well. And we certainly want to be a part of what's coming, so we've agreed to do that. And you'll hear more about it as we go along in the future. But Brandon and I have each attended a couple meetings. Brandon presented at one big conference, and then I attended the last, they call it an alliance group. And some of what's happening across the state is really impressive. So, for us to be a part of this is great. The city of Dayton's going to be partnering with us and possibly UD. We're hoping to get UD on board as well as we start to move forward there. But unless there are questions, that's all I have to report.
Is there any old business? Okay, let's move on to new business. We have our nominating committee report.
Thank you, Madam President. I do have a report to give. In accordance with the RTA bylaws, the board's nominating committee, consisting of Sharon Howard, John Lumpkin, and myself acting as chair, wish to nominate Sharon E. Hairston as president and David P. Williamson as vice president for the 2018-2019 calendar year. The newly elected officers shall be voted on today and installed at the October 2nd, 2018 board meeting. That's the date where we will be passing the baton on to our new leadership. The newly elected officers shall be tasked with establishing chairs for each of our committees, planning, finance and personnel and investment, as well as member assignments for each committee. We want to especially thank Adrian for her dedicated service as our president for the last 2 years. Please know that your leadership has been very much appreciated, and furthermore, we look forward to the succession transition, knowing that you will be able to support our board as you continue to advise and serve as a board member. And finally, thanks to Ms. Hairston and Mr. Williamson for their willingness to serve and further the mission and vision of RTA.
Thank you. You've heard the report from the nominating committee. Are there any nominations from the board in addition to the nominating committee report? Any nominations from the board?
A lot of smiles.
Any nominations from the board? Hearing none, then the nominations are closed on the names that were submitted by the nominating committee. Sharon Hairston for president and Dave Williamson for vice president. If there are no objections, I will have the secretary cast a unanimous ballot for the two individuals that were on the nominating committee. Are there any objections? Okay. Let the record show that they have been elected unanimously and they will take office October 2nd. Okay. The next item is free rides on Election Day. Voting is a fundamental right and has a good community partner. It behooves us to help our citizens exercise this right. I'd like to hear, is there any background that you can give us from a legal point of view?
Sure. We were asked to look into the legality of providing free rides. First, there's nothing in Ohio law that would prevent it. It's consistent with the mission of the RTA to provide public transportation and to enhance the community. And certainly participation in elections is something that would accomplish that. In addition, just a brief review, and this was not thorough at all, but there are at least 11 other states that have adopted it, in cities in Texas, North Carolina, Kansas, Michigan, Arkansas, Florida, New Mexico, Minnesota, and Maine, just to name a few. So there's plenty of precedent to support such a policy if the board were to adopt one.
Okay. Now, if we did this as a policy, we would have to have it reviewed, wouldn't we, if we did it as a policy?
No, it just requires that the board act on the concept.
Act on the concept, but not as a policy number.
And I would tell you that in the past, we've had requests similar to this, but they've always come election week, and
And that's too late.
never been enough time to actually bring something before the board, or you probably would have had this request from me probably 2 or 3 years ago. But no, if the board adopts it, there would be a policy document drawn up that I would sign off, but the minutes of the meeting would serve as,
And we have enough advance notice to have everything happen in the way it needs to happen.
yes.
Okay. Well, let's get a motion on the table, and then we can open it for discussion. So is there a motion to provide free rides on Election Day?
Madam President, with your permission, I think, and with the help of legal counsel, it's kind of follows up on this, what we were just talking about as far as policy is concerned. If we're going to create, in other words, we're going to authorize Mark and staff to create some policy or system to make accommodation for the rides on Election Day. Is that my understanding of what
Right.
the motion is?
We just want to give them permission to pursue it. We want to give them approval to pursue it.
Which is different than a motion to provide free rides.
Okay. Would you do the wording for me, please, since I can't make a motion anyway?
I move we authorize the executive director and staff to make provision to provide free rides for Election Day 2018 and thereafter on election days as the policy would so articulate.
Well, I have one other question.
Well, let's second it, and then we can make a comment. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, it's been properly moved and second that we allow Mark to provide provisions, et cetera, et cetera. Are there any questions or comments?
I have a question, and my question would be, is this for primary elections or all elections that may take place? I just want to make sure that whatever we're doing, we can afford it. If it's going to be like for pop-up elections that happen, we're not saying we're doing it for those, right? This is for November elections, or is this for any election? Clarify me, what are we looking for?
I would interpret it as any election that, the County Board of Elections puts forth, whether it be special, primary, or a general. I don't think, my estimation, we won't lose much revenue. Most of our ridership is past ridership to begin with. Now, what we may get are some complaints that, hey, I can't get a free ride, I bought a weekly or a monthly pass. And typically, we just deal with those one-on-one. But that would be my approach, that if it's...
And that's my point, is that the motion is to give executive director and staff the authority to have the discretion in the future to make that call, so that, number one, we don't have to come back to the board each and every election to say, okay, we got to revisit it again. And number two, if it is just a little one-time school board election in Farmersville, that we don't have to provide free rides for that if we don't want to, because that might be cost prohibitive. My understanding of the motion is to give the executive director and staff the authority to exercise that discretion by coming up with a policy that we approve of the concept of free rides on election days.
And I would just want to add for the record that it's been very rare, but if we actually got a call, we would just send somebody and give somebody a ride. Say it was someone who was an invalid, we would dispatch a paratransit vehicle and see that they managed to get to vote, and take them home and deal with those one-on-one. But again, I don't foresee this as a significant loss of revenue for us.
I had a question. So would it be the entire network or just specific routes that are close to election polling places?
Would be the better way for us to do it is the entire network plus the paratransit service, because some people might have to transfer to get to a polling place.
I agree.
And there's always an opportunity, obviously, for people to try to beat the system, but if they get that creative, I usually congratulate them, if you can get a free ride out of us on one day. But the easiest way for our operations people is to do it across the board.
I would say that it's the easiest way and the most equitable way, if we're going to do it.
Any other questions?
I have one question. Would it be from 12:01 midnight to 12:01 the following morning?
Well,
Is it 24 hours?
arguably, it would be until the polls close
Close.
from the time we start our operations at the hours of the polls.
Right. Right.
We won't make anybody stay downtown, though, if they come downtown. So, we always err on the side of just
Half an
getting
hour.
people where they need to be. But the polling hours would make the most sense.
Okay.
Are we ready for the question? Okay. All those in favor of giving the executive team their authority to develop procedures and processes for this year going forward for free rides on Election Day? I'm just looking at you. That's pretty
Sounds
good.
good to me.
All right. Please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. Okay. Motion carried. The executive team will be developing procedures and processes for free rides on Election Day. Okay. Did we have any requests for public comment?
No, ma'am.
Board member comments? Everybody came to the party today. Thank you. Let's start down at this end. Dave?
No comment, Madam President.
Thank you, Mark, for the literature. And I was going to make things as difficult as possible for you for free rides.
He just can't
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay, I thank the staff and the members of the board for your kind expressions of well wishes, so I really appreciate what you did. Thank you very much.
No comments.
Already made mine.
No comments.
And I just want to wish the best to our new elected officers.
And I just wanted to throw a thank you out there to Brandon's team, specifically Sally Brown, Michelle Garrett, Nathan Owens, as well as Laura and Bike Miami Valley. They came downtown the first Sunday of school for UD. We brought 2,200 first-year students downtown to the convention center, and the Levitt Pavilion had some entertainment for them, kind of a bonding experience, but also got them downtown. We had free tours of downtown, and the idea was to get UD students, in or downtown and learning about it so that they can enjoy it for the next 4 or 5 years. So thank you to all those groups.
And I just want to thank the team for assisting us with the transition of the closing of Good Sam, and to say that we are now offering RTA passes on our campus to make it easier for our employees. So that has been extremely helpful.
Is there any need for an executive session? There being no other business to come before the board, you do see your meetings, your upcoming meeting schedule. Is there any other business to come before the board? Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Been properly moved and second that we adjourn. All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
All those opposed? Meeting adjourned.